So you want to start a photography business in 2021. If you want your business to succeed, you only need to get 4 things right. We're going to go in depth and learn what you need to do in order to win. Let's do this. Hey there, if you're new here, my name's Chris. I'm teaching you photography and how to start a creative business. I want to say a special hi to all my new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to be going in depth and tackling the 4 big questions you need to answer in order to start a photography business. We're going to be talking about getting clients, structuring your services, and learning the most important aspects of running a business. There's going to be a lot of value in this video, so please drop a like below and let's get going. Before you can start any business, you need to answer 4 big questions. These questions will ensure that you can start your business on the right track. Although they may seem simple, I guarantee if you're able to answer these questions realistically, you're going to be way ahead of the competition. Question number 1. When you're starting a business, the first thing you need to know is, what are you selling? If you're a photographer watching this video, you've already probably got some ideas in your head. If you've been doing photography for a while, someone's probably offered to pay you to take pictures for them. A lot of photographers make money doing weddings, shooting headshots, photographing models for brands, or photographing products for a company. These are all good options to choose from. Let's go back to that question. What are you selling? Let's say you answered headshots. That's a good start, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Are you selling your photography services based on how many hours you've been photographing for? Or are you selling the final photos? Are you licensing these photos too, or are you including that price in your rates? What about editing? Is that included in the cost, or is that an extra fee? What if they want you to retouch it 2 more times than you normally would? You need to structure your services in a way that you can easily answer all these questions. When I ask you, what are you selling? I want to know the specifics. Let's go back to our headshot example. When I ask you, what are you selling? You respond with, my company does headshots and our base package is a 30-minute session with 1 final photo with 2 rounds of editing. It comes with a complimentary license and it costs $200 total. Now this is specific. I know exactly what you're selling and I know what I'm getting when I choose you as my photographer. You need to get specific with your services so that your customers can easily make an informed decision when they're looking for a photographer. Alright, so now we know what we're selling, so who's buying it? Question number 2, who is your ideal customer? This is a question every company needs to solve no matter what product or service you're selling. As a photographer, you need to figure out who is your ideal person that you want to work with. I want you to picture this person in your head. Let's keep going with our headshot example. You know you want to do headshots, but for who? There's no way you can advertise that you're selling to everyone, so you have to niche down. You need to establish yourself as the go-to headshot photographer for actors or restaurant owners or lawyers or business executives. The list goes on and on here. If you can answer who is your ideal customer, then you'll be able to establish yourself as the go-to photographer for that customer. Let's go with this example. You thought you wanted to be a lawyer growing up, but you fell in love with photography, so now you want to work with law firms and do their headshots. That's great. You found your ideal customer. From here on, the way you conduct your business should be in a way that will appeal to lawyers. You know who your target audience is, so now you can market yourself towards them. You can style your photos in a way that's different from what a headshot for a restaurant owner or an actor would look like. You can now create your website in a way that appeals to lawyers. Answering these 2 questions is hard. It's hard to know exactly what you're selling and who you're selling to, but if you're able to answer these, it'll put you way ahead of the other photographers who don't know what their services are or who are just appealing to the masses. Now that we've established what we're selling and who our ideal customer is, how do we make our business known? This brings us to question number 3. How is your ideal customer learning about you? How are you spreading awareness for your business? This is where sales and marketing come in. Learning the basics of sales and marketing will help you gain more customers than you know what to do with. And once you reach that point, you'll be able to charge way more for what you're selling. I know sales can sometimes come with a bad rap, but today we're not talking about the annoying cable guy knocking on your front door trying to sell you something you don't need. Sales is all about identifying a problem someone has and showing them how you can solve that problem with your product or service. So how are you, the photographer, solving a problem for someone? At this point, you already know you do headshots for lawyers. A quick Google search for law firms in your area is going to give you hundreds of results. From here, you'll find a lot of law firms with really bad photography, terrible lighting, awkward angles, and luckily for those firms, you can fix those issues. Chances are the firms know their photos are bad, they just haven't gone out and looked for a photographer. In comes you. You email or call them and introduce yourself as an experienced headshot photographer working with law firms. They're impressed. Most photographers aren't specific like that, so they take a look at your website, they love what you're doing, and they hire you to solve their problem. Now that was a perfect situation, and in reality it's more complicated than that, but that's the basics of sales. You find someone with a problem and you show them how you can solve that problem. I mentioned having a website devoted to lawyer headshots. In comes marketing. You need a website. Your website has to show your portfolio, previous clients, and some words about what you do. If you don't have any clients, go ahead and watch this video I made on how to get your first client. Once you have a website, you can market yourself on other platforms too. You can create an Instagram page for your business and post your favorite relevant photos there. You can post behind the scenes of your photo shoots there too. If you're working with lawyers, they're probably on a lot of Zoom calls. Why don't you create a short post on Instagram on how to properly light yourself on a Zoom call so that you look great? You're doing all this stuff so that you can market your business. Get creative here and use all the platforms you can get your hands on. The more awareness you can drive to your brand, the better. You can probably start to see how knowing what you're selling and knowing who you're selling to play a huge role in how you do sales and marketing. Question 3 is probably the hardest part for us photographers because we don't really have a business background. There are a lot of good photographers that are underpaid and a lot of bad photographers that are making a lot of money. Why is this? It's because the photographers that rely on their skill alone don't know how to run a business. If you're a somewhat decent photographer and you arm yourself with business knowledge, you'll be able to make a lot of money doing something you love. You may not love sales, you may not like marketing, but once you understand that sales and marketing is a thing that allow you to live your dream, it'll become easy. Keep the end goal in mind and this whole process will go a lot smoother. Alright, so we've answered the questions. What are you selling? Who is your ideal customer? And how is your ideal customer learning about you? We've got one more question to answer. Once you gain those customers, what does your process look like? Now this is probably the easiest part for us as photographers because now we actually get to make the photos, but it's not quite that simple. You need to structure this process a little bit. Let's continue with our headshot example. You just had a law firm agree to buy some headshots from you, so what comes next? Well, first I would get on a prep call with them and make sure both parties are on the same terms here. Ask them how many people are going to be photographed that day. How many photos does each person need? Are there going to be group shots too or just individual shots? Where is this happening? Are you renting a studio or are you bringing your setup to their office? It's important to ask questions like this to get on the same page and ensure there are no misunderstandings with the process. After the shoot, you need to have a process for reviewing and editing the photos. Are they the ones choosing the final photos, or is it you? How does that revision process look like? How are you sharing the final deliverables? What if they want to print the photos? Have answers to these questions in place so that your process is consistent. This last question is all about customer experience. You want them to love working with you so that you'll potentially get repeat business and so they can refer you to all their lawyer friends. This is another big benefit of knowing who your ideal customer is. Having an ideal customer means you'll get more referrals because you work in one industry. People will trust you, and with a stellar customer experience, you'll be getting a lot of referrals. And that's it. Those are the 4 questions you absolutely need to be able to answer if you want to start a photography business and succeed in 2021. By answering these questions, you'll be way ahead of the other photographers that don't want to answer these. Rewatch this video and pause and write down those answers to these questions. I want you to succeed, and by doing this exercise, it's going to give you a huge advantage. Alright, so I know this was a lot of information in one video. I think it's awesome that you're trying to build a business and do what you love. I appreciate you watching, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.